Hey guys, Dave TCU coming to you with another video, and I'm back, guys. Sorry for the long hiatus. I guess you guys deserve an explanation. Basically, I was sick. Definitely feel better now, but I lost my voice. I did record some OP05 gameplay that once my voice was coming back, but it sounds terrible. I'm coughing all the time, so I just feel like I didn't want to post those videos, unfortunately. And then, of course, when I feel better, I get into an accident. I was in the hospital, got discharged, and I've been doing rehab, laying in bed and doing those exercises. So I did get to play some OP Sim, but I wasn't able to record. So until today. So finally recording, but that's the reason. That's the rationale why it's been a little while since I posted. So I do apologize, guys. Feeling, like I said, feeling better now, but with my back and still doing the rehab, I might not be able to pump out the videos like I was doing before the How to Play Rebecca video. But hopefully with the rehab and hopefully getting the strength back, and if all the scans continue to look better, then we'll hopefully I can get back to hopefully 100%. We'll cross our fingers. But let's go ahead and start fresh. Let's ignore OP05. Let's go ahead and jump to OP06 like I promised you guys, with what you guys have been waiting for, my OP06 Rebecca Decklist. And again, unfortunately, they dropped the, as you guys know, they dropped the ban list, or you guys didn't know, they dropped the ban list today. So I'm going to do this. This is my pre-ban list Rebecca Decklist. And I'm going to go ahead and explain to you why I chose what I chose like I normally do, and go through the deck list. And then we can talk about post ban list after deck list. So for those who wanted to watch for the deck list, you guys can sign off after that, and then I will go into the post ban list matches and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and jump right into the deck list. So the first one is Aramaki. Aramaki is one of the new cards, the 8-drop Navy, that it's good in the late game. That's the reason I drop them here. You really need them for some matches to be able to bottom deck 2 costs or below. And then it becomes, then you can swing basically 11k, or you want to keep them up for you as a blocker for your opponent in your opponent's turn. It's going to help you in the late game a lot. So very good card. I wish I can run more, but obviously the deck does not allow it. From there, I run a tech card. So the 4-drop new Charlotte Pudding. This is mainly for the Ryu and then the possible Nami matches that you might see. Basically, you play her. Your opponent has 200 cards in hand. It goes all the way in the deck. And then they have to shuffle and then draw just 5 cards. So definitely just specific for specific matches, better than It's a Waste of Human Life, because it's a 4 cost. And it still does what it needs to do for those 2 matches specifically. And if there is a white beard, then also white beard. But there shouldn't be a white beard pre-ban list. I did not mention this before, but this is EB01 deck list. You cannot play Rebecca before EB01 and OP06 because you get the new 4 of Scarlet. Scarlet does very well in this deck, with this version of this deck, because you're able to on play, basically activate main, dump her in the trash, and then you can play a 3-drop or below. You get to -2 cost on somebody, and then you can play a 3-drop or below. We're gonna go ahead and skip our Lumbus, and that's the rationale of running 4 Kyruses, because even on your first turn when going second, you're able to play her, activate her effect, and play Kyrus from hand if you have them, to pop a 3 cost or below right away, and then you already have Kyrus established. But obviously there's way more combos, including the Scarlet, and that's the reason we run 4 of. 2 Orlumbuses, because of the way this deck list is, Orlumbus is not as needed as much. To the point I might actually just get rid of him completely, but as of now I just kept him. Just because he doesn't stick, right? The Orlumbus always had a problem of being prioritized. And of course, in OP06, even worse of a problem because of Sakazuki and Moria. To the point that, I'd rather have something that can at least get an unplay effect to work. Even the 2-drop Helmapo, or the 4-drop Kuzan, or the 4-drop Borsalino, etc., etc. So that's the rationale why I'm thinking Olympus I might remove. But he's still in here just because he does -4. If he does stick, he does wonderful, of course. And his Dressrosa also helps with without whiffing durability. You already know why I wanted 4 Kiruses. Kirus is amazing. 4 Sabos because yellow's still a thing. 3 Bartolomeos because you're able to recur with your 4-drop Rebecca. 2 Leos because it kind of does what Kirus does, so it's a backup Kirus because you can activate it with Scarlet's ability and drop the Leo. 1 Rebecca, and so if you guys notice, I don't have the 7-drop Luffy or the Stadium card because unfortunately the Luffy was slow. So I had to take him out, and you have to play the Stadium with the Luffy, so it's too many cards to play in a deck list like this. So the problem is I even lost matches when I was testing to just decking out. The problem is this deck doesn't have good ways to bottom deck anymore because of the Luffy's gone. So when I was playing 3 1-drop Rebecca's and I played them back to back, there's been games that I had to like go in because I'm about to deck out and just lose the game. So that's the reason I dropped her down to 1. To the point that I might actually take her out and just bump the Leo or the Patchwork, to be honest. But I just got there because sometimes you need to see a card that you haven't seen, and then the 1-drop Rebecca can maybe hopefully give you a blocker or 2K or the Kyros or the Leo. So that's the reason I kept her at 1 for now. But she is a flex spot. So because of I was having that problem, I threw in Alyssa Zabello instead of Luffy. Maybe because he's a 4-drop, so you're able to recur him with some effects, or you're able to grab him back to your hand with Rebecca and then play him the next turn. So if he does stick, you're able to return 20 cards to the bottom of your deck so you don't deck out, and then you're swinging with a double attack 15k. That's not the main point. The point is to not to deck out, but at least you have another win condition if he does stick as well. Of course, we run 4 one-legged soldier. It also combos well with the Scarlet. I'll show you a combo after I'm done with the deck list. 2 Mancherries, wait so you don't deck out and also recur what you need to recur. Rebecca, self-explanatory, definitely 4 of. Lucy, 1 of Lucy just because again you want to not deck out. Sorry guys. Not deck out and then play a body and pop 2 things. And then of course the new boss monster for Gecko Moria. Able to, a quick amazing combo will be playing Gecko at 8 Dawn to play Rebecca, to play Hina, and then the second effect of Gecko play Scarlet. You're able to drop 4/2, so you minus 6 cost. Scarlet's second ability to play Kirus or Leo, and you pop a 7 cost. If you're at 10, actually we'll talk about that after. 3 Peronas. It's a 2K. It has an amazing ability. You're able to recur with the Gecko Moria as well. If you need to minus 3 or discard a card in your opponent's hand if they're at 5 or more. 3 Hinas because you need the combos with the Rebecca for the Scarlet and Gecko Moria combo. 2 Amano Murakumo. Amazing card. Return 1 of your opponent's 2 costs and 1 cost to the bottom of your opponent's deck. Broken. It's one of the best cards in this game now. Amazing for Sakazuki, able to grab it with Tashigi and brand new. But for us, we need to abuse this card as well for even us to even stand a chance for some matches, unfortunately. I was running at 3, but I substituted for 1 Lucy because I was having the deck out problems. Gravity Blade, amazing card. We're able to drop 2 6 costs, and in our deck, we're dropping 2 10 costs consistently. So unfortunately, with these cards, we have to mulligan to see them. Because we cannot grab them since they're both navies. And then 1 Patchwork because it does combo well. And then a quick combo will be at 10 Dawn, for example, you can play Moria into Rebecca, into Hina, and Scarlet, -4, -2. You still have 2 Dawn extra. You can play Patchwork, -9. And then with the Scarlet's ability, play Kirus or Leo to then to pop a 10 cost, and then you activate Rebecca's ability, or Gecko Moria into Rebecca, into Hina, into Scarlet, into 1-legged soldier, The math here is -9. You're at 2 down left. And if you have Amano Muraku, you can bottom deck a 10 cost and a 2 cost. So like little stuff like that. It's like one of the main combos, and then you have 4 cards. Well, depending on which combo route you go, you either have 3 to 4 cards on play with a blocker standing. Amazing, amazing combo. And that's why I try to focus on with this deck list. And what do I think about deck? So matches, right? So that is the deck list, guys. But matches wise, you beat Yamato, you beat Perona most of the time, but it's like 55-45, 52-48. It's close. It's not like a runaway game. You beat Ryu, it's still close, but you have a win right there. But unfortunately, guys, Rebecca loses to Sakazuki and Moria. Even though I made the changes so I can at least play against them, because before these changes, it was just a run over. I mean, with Moria maybe, but with Sakazuki especially, it was just a run over match. There's just nothing you can do. And it makes sense. It makes sense. Why does it make sense? When in OP04, when I was playing Rebecca, the only deck I was losing to, though, consistently lost to, is Pure Blue Croc. And the problem with Pure Blue Croc is the bottom decking. The consistent bottom deck every turn with the Pure Blue Croc, it kind of destroyed me because I can't attack Rebecca. Now Sakazuki has a consistent way to bottom deck. It can search Borsalino, it can search Hound Blaze, it can search Gravity Blade, even though they don't run this, but the new card, Amano Muruka, able to bottom deck 2 cards and consistently. It's just too much for Rebecca to handle. It's nothing you can do. Can you, with this deck list, can you get some games against Sakazuki? Absolutely. But unfortunately, not consistently. Consistently speaking, you're at, if I'm being generous, at an 80% loss rate against Sakazuki. And against Moria, because of this girl right here, unless it's just a sim, but every time he's in the trash in the early mid game, there's nothing you can do either. Unless you have to bottom deck this card against Moria, and that's another rationale of running these cards. Because if you don't, then you just lose the game. And unfortunately for us, we have to mulligan to see this card. That's the reason I had it at 3 at the beginning. Because if you don't see it, if they see this and you don't see this, then it's just GG. And if you do see one of this, but they see 2 of this, it's just GG. There's a chance that you win, yeah, but you're playing from behind since the beginning, and you're at, like I said, 70% chance of losing that game. So one of the one of the most popular decks in the game, which is Sakazuki and Moria, able to consistently beat Rebecca, was gonna go ahead and make that decision, the final decision for you guys. No matter how you build Rebecca, it's not a competitive deck. And this would have been the last video that you guys see me post for Rebecca for this set. You know, Rebecca can always come back if they always give us some support in OP07, OP08, who knows. But as of today, I would have stopped playing Rebecca for OP06, and I would have, if you guys are still interested, I would have been posting the new decks that I was going to go ahead and play since I am in the Treasure Come 2 weeks, because unfortunately Rebecca is not competitive pre-ban list. So the reason I say this is, can you still play her for fun? By all means. Can you play her in locals? By all means. You can still win games with this deck list right here that I made, and you can still even modify a little bit to make it stronger, depending on your locals. But I am a competitive player, as you guys know. You guys know I've top 32, top 16. My best records have been 9-1s. Unfortunately, bubbling out from top 8 twice, getting 11th place. Point being, and I've won multiple store championship, locals, blah, 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 blah. Point being is I only make 2 types of deck lists for you guys. One to show you guys that it doesn't work, and the other one showing you this is what you guys can do to win games. This is the deck list I'm going to take to the Treasure Cup, to the regionals, to win games. And if you guys practice enough, you guys can actually go out and not only have fun, but also possibly win. And that's the whole objective of this channel, is for me to share with you guys the deck list I'm doing to take to the Treasure Cup and regionals. It's for me to craft with you guys and show you guys the deck list I'm doing. And the reason it was just mainly Rebecca, because that's the deck list I've been doing since OP04. I've been playing Rebecca since OP04, OP05, and I've been trying her in OP06. But I would not promote a deck list saying to you guys this is a great deck for you guys to play if it's not competitive, just because that's not my aim. So for fun, by all means, there's probably gonna be other guys putting out Rebecca videos out there for you guys to enjoy for your local scene or just for funs with friends. But for you guys, for Treasure Cup, do not take Rebecca for OP06 unless you want to be maybe top 64 if you dodge every Sakazuki and Moria. But the chances are not, right? Sakazuki and Moria, you're gonna hit at least, if there's 10 rounds, I'm assuming you're gonna hit 6 of them in a 10-round game. So that's the rationale, guys. So that is the deck list. That is the final verdict for pre-ban list. Rebecca is not a competitive deck, unfortunately, just because of Sakazuki and Moria. So for those who only cared about that, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully keep an eye out for my new videos, and then we'll take it from there. Now, for those who care about post-ban lists, so post-ban lists, just to let you guys know, from me making this video, it's not official to know what's going to happen the Western side. It's officially banned in Japan. Sakazuki, Great Eruption, and an Anel yellow card, I think it was called Rejection, that nobody really plays competitively or that I know of. So it really doesn't matter for now. But point being is that with Sakazuki being banned, and most likely being banned here in the Western scene, Rebecca might have a chance. So is Rebecca really dead? Is a question mark. I'm going to have to now change the deck again and go through it again and not even worry about Sakazuki. Just focus on Moria and then the other new decks that are going to come up, upon, and maybe tell you guys when OP06, I'm sorry, when EB01 OP06 comes out, that maybe Rebecca comes back. And I will definitely let you guys know. I'm definitely going to have to mess around, play some more games. Unfortunately, EB01 doesn't come out soon. I think it's in April that it comes out for us in the Western side. Please correct me if I'm wrong. So the good thing is we're able to see how the meta develops, and then I can take it from there, and then I'll show you guys a new Rebecca deck list if you guys continue to follow me. But we don't know what's gonna happen, right? We don't know if Sakazuki is completely banned, or there's a rumor that he's gonna be eroded. And if he's eroded, then I do have to still face the Sakazuki, but the new errata version, which the new sim is gonna, I'm assuming by EVO1 coming out, it will then take an account to that as well. So that's gonna be definitely later, because now two things are gonna happen with the Sakazuki ban list, right? Two things, and I hope it's this one that I'm gonna tell you guys. So Sakazuki was it's definitely a powerhouse, definitely a more consistent deck and stronger deck because of cards like these that are Navy, and with the one drop Tashigi that they got, that's able to search Navy for, even I think you can even search a 10 drop Kuzan. They don't run it, but I'm just saying that just gives that potential. But what the Sakazuki did, it deck check, right? It was allowed to be a gatekeeper for most rogue decks in OP06, including, like I mentioned earlier, the Rebecca, right? So Rebecca was not able to play in OP06 meta, in my opinion, because of Moria, but mainly Sakazuki. So, but that's not the only deck, right? We're talking about Zoro, Red Green Law, Pure Blue Croc. Those decks are all being checked by Sakazuki. But not only those decks. Also the top decks, right? Raiju was getting hit by Sakazuki. I don't know the Yamato and the Sakazuki matchup. I'm assuming it was still a good match between both of them. So even them. So the first thing that can happen is because Sakazuki being hit, we can see a massive rogue deck coming back to then change the meta. Pure Blue Croc, it's a very high contender because it probably does very well against Moria. It probably does very well against Rebecca. It does very well against what was it, Perona. So can Blue Croc be the top? And then does it do well against Yamato? Question mark. Does it do well against Ryu? Question mark. And if it does, then you will see Blue Croc as a top meta pick, right? It has a lot of support. It got a lot of good blue cards, right? Probably Red Zoro's gonna try to do a comeback now that Sakazuki got hit. Red Green Law, Red Purple Law, Whitebeard, who knows? Point being is those rogue decks are gonna come out and play in playtest. Probably not in this Treasure Cup coming in 2 weeks because it's so hard to try to do a lot of games. Recently, if you already made up your mind to play in Sakazuki to try out a new rogue deck, you probably have to go and switch into a trial proven deck and then just eat mirror matches all day. But in the next Treasure Cup, you're probably going to see a lot of rogue decks coming out. And then it changes the complete meta game of OP06 for the Western side. I don't like that because I just feel like, I don't mind it, right? That it does do that. I don't like it that people that have already, had their deck, had their strategy, put time in the lab, it's going to be, you only have 11 days now if you're in the first Treasure Cup of OP06 to go back to a lab and grind out. And people have jobs, people do their family time, so it's gonna suck to try to be efficient in 11 days to get a good turnout in the tournament. So probably ignore the first Treasure Cup result, to be honest, because there's really not gonna be that much crazy stuff to happen, and if there is, it's not as efficient. But when the second Treasure Cup hits, that's the one to pay attention. That's when people did have time in the lab and try new things out and see what's gonna hit, right? I'm gonna be one of those. I'm gonna try, because I'm in the first Treasure Cup, I'm gonna try to obviously make a rogue deck that's gonna hit all these decks and do well with it. Hopefully, because I don't like to play mirror matches. It's just not a thing I like to do. I always, every tournament, I've gone with a different rogue deck that you consider rogue because it's not the top meta decks. It's how I've always played. So, for those who are worried for me to just go to the meta decks and not post any cool rogue decks or at least other decks other than the meta, don't worry. I try to always make a rogue deck that's gonna be good for the meta. So stick with me for that. Unless it's the second option. So if it's not that first option that I say, which I hope it is because that just makes more variability, the second option will be that if Saka was preventing the good decks that have been winning. Remember, Saka has not really won the main tournament in Japan in OP06. It has won locals, maybe won one flagship, but the main ones has been Yamato and now, and I think Perona, and then maybe one or two Ryu's. So Saka has not won. It's those decks that have won. So does those decks become even better? Does those decks become unstoppable now to a point that even a rogue deck comes in can't beat those decks? So then now everybody just has to play those top meta decks because Sakazuki got hit? Probably not, but it's a possibility, and I really hope that's not the case. Because if it is that case, then here I go with mirror matches, right? For Treasure Cup and regional matches. But like I said, that chance is low. But if it does happen, that will suck. I'll be so annoyed. But I really hope it does. It's the other way around, that you can play stuff like Becca, Zoro, or other decks that are considered Blue Croc, maybe even Purple Luffy may come back. I doubt it because you have Ryu, but Kaido, who knows? I really hope that's the case because then you can see way more variability, way more options since Sakazuki got hit. So, my opinion of the ban, it wasn't necessary. I don't think a ban was necessary. I think an errata would have been nice. or limitations like dropping Homeboy here down to 2, or dropping the one cost, what's it called, the Great Eruption to 2 or 1, you know, maybe hitting Rebecca to 3 or 2, whatever, you know, stuff like that. I think would be better than just a straight up ban, or just eroded the leader. And it sounds like they might do that, so I'll be fine with that as well. Because again, it's the Sakazuki has not won games consistently in Japan, but it has top 4, it has top 8, it has top 16. So if you want to just top, you play Sakazuki, just know that you most likely are not gonna win the first place prize, but definitely at least top 4, top 8, top 16, still very good results. So that's the reason I think limitations and erratas just to power it down would have been the way I think would have been fair. But then also, you know, look what Sakazuki is doing, right? Look at the other top meta decks that Sakazuki was able to compete and hold down a bit. You know, because Enel didn't get targeted, Yamato didn't get targeted. The decks that are beating Sakazuki in full power should probably be looked at as well, because if it goes to the second option where you can only play those top tier meta decks because Sakazuki got powered down, then those decks should also be hit, to prevent just stale Treasure Cup and regionals due to the Sakazuki being hit. If it ends up that way, maybe they assume it doesn't end up that way. They just assume that, like the first option that I mentioned, that Sakazuki is just a gatekeeper, and then by allowing road decks to come into the meta, then those top decks are also gonna find other matches that are unfavorable, and then the meta changes. If that's the case and they thought ahead like that, then I will definitely apply for Bandai, and then we'll go from there. But we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait to see how the new Rebecca post ban list Decklist is gonna come out when I mess with it. We're gonna have to see how the meta rolls out after the second Treasure Cup, and take it from there, guys. So it's gonna be an interesting time. Keep a close eye on this meta. Keep a close eye on these tournaments, these main tournaments that are gonna happen here on the Western side. Keep a close eye on Bandai's decision on the Western side officially. If it's a errata, pure ban. If it's neither, and Sakazuki is still full power, then that's a whole different story. But I doubt it. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a errata or a ban. That's what I'm gonna assume, and make my decision of my new deck that I'm gonna go into the Treasure Cup here in less than 2 weeks. About. So if you guys are interested of the deck I'm gonna play, let me know in the comments, IG or Discord. I haven't completely decided because I just found out about this errata / ban list. So I'll have to go ahead and see, and then we'll take it from there. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for holding out for this next video, and I hope you guys will watch my next videos that are going to come up. But that's all I got for you guys. So again, thank you guys again, and Dayrot TCG signing out.